Stirring the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Peruvian. Nice, floral, not strong enough. I should have put another scoop in the percolator for this one. I can tell from the first sip. Yeah, needs to be a little bit stronger for my taste. That doesn't necessarily mean more caffeine. I like a stronger, darker cup of coffee. I want to taste the coffee, not have a coffee-like substance. Just me, though. Mommy, why does he use chopsticks to stir his coffee? Stirring is important. You stir everything in life. If you're not stirring people's emotions, if you're not stirring reactions, responses, stirring up their neurons, their brain cells, the unstirred life is not even worth living. A gentleman writes me, he loses another love. How do you get over? How do you mend a broken heart? Age-old question, right? I say it takes two things. It takes time and your will. You have to want to get over them. A response, and this is anonymous, and rightfully so. My brain has been set back physically, and I hope I can regain enough executive function and intelligence to have a great life. You can. You can. And find a way to take the right actions that prevent me from harming myself and allow me to change the trajectory to healing. My response is, you would benefit from not putting all your eggs in one basket. Spread out your affections. Harming yourself is just punishing yourself for failing. In a race, they don't punish people for failing. They only reward people for winning. And that's what you need to change. But you'll be okay. One lifetime is not enough to live. This is why we need to draw upon the wisdom of our ancestors. Never trust one man's perspective, ever, unless he is drawing upon the wisdom. There goes the chopstick. Unless he is drawing upon the wisdom of many people who've gone before him. I never trust one man's studies or one man's conclusions, ever. Nor should you trust just mine unless I am drawing upon other people. One lifetime is not enough. With vision, goals, and a plan, you can count your chickens before they're hatched. Why else would a farmer plow a barren field? He can see the harvest in the fall, even before he plants the seeds. That's from Jim Rohn. Can you imagine you have many fields? There's nothing there but dirt. You have to imagine those fields rich with crops, yielding fruit, vegetables, etc. The mind of a farmer, think about it, the mind of a farmer, to see things that are not there, the mind of an architect, to take an empty space and turn it into a structure. Maybe you need to hang out with farmers and architects. I remember Grant Cardone in 2016. I love this phrase. He goes, if I edit everything I say and do to make everyone happy, then who am I? He said it in passing. I wrote it down. It now lives on. You sound like a broken record. Vinyl records are vulnerable to scratches. On a record, a scratch can cause a popping sound with each revolution. Pop, 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 pop. When the needle hits that scratch mark. Pop, pop. Deeper scratches can cause the needle to jump out of the groove. So if the needle jumps ahead to a groove further inward, information gets skipped. If it jumps outward to the groove it just finished playing, it can repeat in an infinite loop of the same music line over and over and over and over. That is why we say to people, you sound like a broken record. Do you know anyone who sounds like a broken record? They keep repeating the same thing over and over and over. Some people's lives are like a broken record. Better to skip ahead than to repeat the same thing over and over. Here's 10 reasons why you women need an older man, or I would say the benefits of an older man. Number 1, he has more patience. And as an older man, I approve of this message. Some people say you're selling yourself, or it sounds like a sales pitch. No, this is the conclusion of women about why. This isn't my opinion. I'm agreeing with them, but this is a woman that wrote this. He has more patience. Older men are more mature, for the most part, yes. 3, stability is sexy. I would agree. I could see that from a woman's point of view, that a stable man is a sexy man. 4, he's learned from his mistakes. Many have. That one's a little... Many have. The wise ones have. You know, there's a difference between 20 years experience and 1 year of experience 20 times. You want the person who has 20 years experience. And like I said in the first thing that I said this morning about drawing upon the wisdom of your ancestors and those that have gone before you. 5, being a gentleman is part of his nature. For the most part, an older man comes from a different generation. That's the good news and the bad news. But I will say that I do treat women differently than a man who is younger than me. It's part of my nature. Some would say that's the bad news. I think that's the good news because I know not to be walked on. Number 6, those extra pounds don't matter. I would agree. I feel that as an older man, I'm more forgiving about weight, shape, perfection, what might be fat or out of shape to a younger man in regards to a woman is just okay by me. I'm forgiving because I look at myself in the mirror and I'm not the most perfect thing in the world. Of course, this can be a quality that men of any age use towards anything, anybody, even other men. You just become less judgmental when it comes to that. 7, he's comfortable in his own skin. That can be the bad news because complacency about your own life, about how you look. This is why men get fat after they get married. This is why men get fat if they have a wife that earns more than they do. This is why men get lazy. I watch them fall like dominoes, just left and right. Men my age and younger. It's sad to see that. To see men lose the hustle. 8, he shows respect. That can happen. I think older men tend to be more respectful. They're more graceful because they know of their own shortcomings. 9, drama is not allowed. I agree with that. Any drama, and I'm out. Simple as that. I do not tolerate nonsense at all. And I'm very decisive about that. And 10, coming from a woman's perspective, your pleasure comes first and often. I would agree pretty much. You know, it's not about getting your own pleasure when you're older. You become less selfish sexually. And when it comes to pleasure in general, not just sexual pleasure, but you enjoy pleasing people. Not that you don't like being pleased, you're not a martyr, but you just like doing things for people in general, and then that spills over into the bedroom with your wife. That's how I feel. So that could be one of the reasons why women like to date older men. And not just like money, property, all the shiny objects. There are some character and personality reasons why. While you are sitting around licking your wounds, she moved on. The second guy she's with after you probably will be talking marriage with her. And you're at the gym, working out, thinking you're going to win her back. Women move on faster, or just as fast as men, but women, I think, move on faster than men when it comes to ending relationships. As a matter of fact, on her way home from you, she probably swiped right 3 times. Now, I say that sarcastically, but when a woman decides it's over, that means she probably decided it was over months ago. And that's the one thing I don't like about women, is that they'll keep that shit to themselves and then drop it on you like a bomb. That's the one thing. There's a million things I like about women. But men, don't be hypnotized. Don't get drawn in to the curves. Think with your head. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not going to say it. Think with your head and not the bed. That's a nicer way. See, a lot of young guys would say, think with this head, not with this head. That's another thing about getting older. You want to say things a little more gracefully. I know Dan Pena, he's just motherfuck this, motherfuck, I get that. I understand that. It's novel. But I don't get motivated by somebody calling me a pussy. That just doesn't happen. Doesn't work with me. Never did, never will. And if it works with you, that's cool. Then you definitely are not a true blue fan of the Sultan, because I'm not going to call you names and berate you. It's not going to happen. Have you noticed that mere opinions about the coronavirus are dividing people more than the virus itself? Screw the virus. It's the opinions that are deadly. My opinion. I saw a video that says how to make $2,000 a month with 25 ducks. And my title of my tweet was, can 25 ducks pay your mortgage? There are some smart farmers or people that are animal owners, like duck owners, that think that you can sell enough eggs to pay your mortgage. Subtract the cost of feed, and it could happen. Do you have ducks or chickens or goats or whatever? Let me know. I'd like to know that. If your barbershop has to close because the power went out, you're doing all the wrong hairstyles. I was thinking about this. With women's hair, most of the time they need a blow dryer and hot irons, flat irons and curling irons and thermal tools and so forth. When I look at like all the modern hairstyles for men, they're all clipper based. Black barbershops, they just shut down because they're all clipper based. I do most of my haircuts with scissors and a straight razor. I don't need power. I don't need the electric to be on. As long as I have light, sunlight, daylight, I can cut hair all day long. My haircuts last longer, lay nicer, look better. They actually feel better. I could take clippers and run them up someone's head, and you feel it. It feels prickly. Porcupine head. I take scissors and cut. Half-inch vertical sections. Cut. You feel it. It feels soft. It grows in nicer. It lays nicer. The layers look nicer. It feels soft. When was the last time your haircut felt soft? Right? And then when your hair grows out, if it's a if it's 100% clipper cut, it gets porcupiney first. It doesn't lay nice. That's why I like to say my haircuts last longer. I think clipper cuts, and people are going to say, that's because you don't know how to cut hair with clippers. Really? Come on, let's get real. Clipper cuts is really about speed cutting. That's really what it is. I'm not about speed. That's why my appointments are long and people are designated in that slot. It's not about, well, that's why I have appointments, period, because that's your time. I don't have like 3 guys waiting for a haircut, which unconsciously makes me hurry up. Not interested in that. I'm more interested in giving you a good haircut rather than how many haircuts can I give in an hour. That's cool. If that's your game, that's no condemnation there. Different strokes for different folks. Again, the benefits of being older. I don't give a shit. Or I should say I give a shit about the right stuff. For International Women's Day, which was yesterday, I just want to say thank you to all the alpha-loving women who have made me sandwiches over the years. Thank you. Men and women are different. There's a picture of a man and a woman lying in bed with their backs to each other and a caption of their thoughts. Her mind has what she's thinking. And she's thinking, he's probably thinking of other girls. This makes me laugh. Him, she's going to hit me when she... I can't even say it. She's going to hit me when she smells that fart. Fart jokes at 5 o'clock in the morning. She's going to hit me when she smells that fart. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious, I think. Look, at even a 60-year-old guy can still laugh at fart jokes. All right, a 6-year-old boy and a 60-year-old man. The humor hasn't changed much. AFT, A-F-F-T-E, is an abbreviation for affection or affectionate, often used during the 17 and 1800s, and is generally used at the end of writing a letter. Also, aftly, which is short for affectionately, which was a word seen in Lewis Carroll's letters quite often. You would end a letter, some people would say love or best wishes or yours truly. Some people would just write aft, aftly, or your aft brother, your aft sister, your aft son. How many legs does a dog have how many legs does a dog have if you call his tail a leg? 4. Saying that a tail is a leg doesn't make it a leg. It probably won't hurt you to look up quotes by Elbert Hubbard, lived from 1856 to 1915, writer, publisher, artist, philosopher. Interesting life, very interesting. His cause of death in that particular scenario will either haunt you or satisfy you. It's interesting. He died on the Lusitania, a ship that was sunk in the Atlantic. Passenger, like a big passenger ship that was doing a transatlantic voyage. And as it was sinking, there was a guy that was asking him and his wife, come on, are you going to get in the boats? And there was obviously no more room in the lifeboats. He says, person said, what are you going to do? He says, what can I do? Literally, what can I do? The ship was sinking. His wife was holding onto his arm, just like she did when they took strolls on the deck of the ship every single day. I don't know at that time if it was a 1-week voyage or 2 weeks or a month, I don't know, coming over. They were coming from Ireland, I believe. And as the ship was sinking, they turned around and went back into their cabin and closed the door, because they couldn't stand the thought of being parted in death. Pretty wild, isn't it? Elbert Hubbard. Like I said, it probably wouldn't hurt you to look up quotes by Elbert Hubbard. You probably have heard many of those quotes, but you didn't realize they were from him. Remove from your life the need to hear the words, "I love you." It's much better to come to the conclusion, they love me, 100% based upon their behavior towards you. But I'm committed to you doesn't sell Valentine's Day cards. That wouldn't go over really well, would it? So we are in the I love you and love ya culture. Show your love more than you say your love. They need to come to the conclusion that you love them based upon your behavior, not based upon your words. Same thing with them. Do their actions say, "I love you," to you? This was from Christopher Morley, an excerpt. The real man is George Herbert's seasoned timber, the fellow who does handily and well whatever comes to him. Even if it's only shoveling coal into a furnace, he can balance the shovel neatly, swing the coal square on the fire, and not spill it on the floor. If it's only splitting kindling wood or running a trolley car, he can make a good artistic job of it. If it's only writing a book or peeling potatoes, he can put into it the best he has. Can you imagine that? When I read that, that was amazing, because there's a lot of people who put me down for being only a hair cutter. As you know, I was a therapist for 22 years and a healthcare administrator at the top of my game. And my trade is cutting hair. I come from a family that says always have a trade. No matter what your academic background is, always have a trade. It's just an opinion that some people have, and it really came from the immigrant brain in my family. The immigrants always had trades. They didn't come here and teach and write books. They came here and worked. And my immigrants came here and worked with their hands. Some of those immigrants cut hair because everybody needs a haircut, no matter where you go. Most people do. But I love this. The real man is George Herbert's seasoned timber. Not amazing. Seasoned timber. Is that amazing? The description of a man as seasoned timber, those of you that have created your own lumber, taken down trees, created boards, built beams, took a tree and made a beam out of it and let it sit for a year before you start hewing it and shaping it. Seasoned timber. It's gone through all the seasons. What a beautiful way to describe a strong man. Seasoned timber. Are you seasoned timber? You probably never heard that line before, but it's something to aspire to. What absurd victims of contrary desires we are, Christopher Morley says. If a man is settled in one place, he yearns to wander. And when he wanders, he yearns to have a home. All the great things in life are done by discontented people. Isn't that a brilliant line? When you're content, you don't work very hard, do you? But when you're discontent, you got a little itch. You got a little restless heart. You got some wandering eyes. Things get done. Long live restless hearts. I'm committed to you is better than I love you. I will do my best to understand you is better than I love you. I will serve you is better than I love you. I forgive you is better than I love you. Enough already with I love you and love ya. Showing it is always much greater than saying it. Find the hidden benefit. Instead of believing there's something defective or wrong with you, after forever trying to change that thing in yourself that you don't like, why not embrace that thing and tune into the highest level of understanding it to find the hidden benefit of it? Maybe that one thing that you hate about yourself is a gift to be used. Rather than wasting energy cursing your fatal flaw, discover where that thing can be used, capitalized, and again, find the hidden benefit. Men, after divorce, drink more or train more, go into monk mode or playboy mode, save more or spend more. It's always fascinating to watch. What did you do, or what are you doing now if you are going through a divorce and separation? Put your answers down below. I'd like to see that. What are you doing? For me, I didn't touch alcohol for the first year of my divorce. Didn't touch it. Didn't even want to. I went to my brother's wedding and I didn't even toast with alcohol. I drank a glass of water, toasted with a glass of water. 1 year I did not have alcohol because I wanted to just feel the pain, get through it, experience it, and not prolong it. One of the smartest things I've ever done. Women burn on the average 69 calories during sex. Men on the average burn 100 calories during sex, and that's saying a 25-minute session. I see walking, hiking, swimming, and cycling on my fitness tracker, but nothing about sex. What's that tell you? Women don't mind a possessive or jealous man. He's so possessive. Women don't mind a possessive man if they are into him. Think about that. Epidemiologically speaking, you've had sex with everyone that they have ever had sex with. So notch count really isn't accurate when it comes to microbiology. It's exponential. Not a lot to brag about now, right? And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, the home of sanity, clarity, and reason.